What's up, guys? Brad here, live on stage at the Verizon Theater in Grand Prairie, Texas, where local pop star Todrick Hall will hit the stage, and only a few towns away from where he was born and raised. Todrick came out of the womb entertaining and hasn't stopped since. Singer, dancer, actor, choreographer, YouTube star, logo star, MTV star, the list of his accomplishments goes on. And tonight, we have snagged an exclusive backstage sit-down with the man behind the Straight Outta Oz tour to see how does he do it all. What is it specifically about the Wizard of Oz that got you hooked, that got you sort of obsessed with that phenomenon?
I would like to say that there was something like really cool and prolific about the Wizard of Oz that made me just fall in love with it. But at a young age, there was just some strange connection that I had with it. I also just feel like my life is semi-paralleled to Dorothy's because she was always in this like black and white world and wanted to get out and knew that there was something bigger and greater and grander out there that she would like to see and achieve, but didn't know necessarily what it was.
Right.
And then she realized, much like we often do, that the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Nope.
And that what we had was already great to begin with. And I think it's a cool fundamental lesson, and of the three components that I think make a human, like wisdom, love, and courage are like so strong. So I think I've just, as life has gone on, like much like The Lion King, you watch it when you're a kid and it means one thing, and then you grow up and you're crying for a completely different reason.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the relationship that I've had with the story of the Wizard of Oz.
Okay, so I want to talk about the Straight Outta Oz album and how that came about. How long has this project taken you from start to when you released it a few weeks ago?
It honestly, like, people probably wouldn't believe that because it takes some people 6 months, a year, 2 years to write each one of their albums. But this was one of those things where I was like going through so many like emotional things. Like in this business, there's like so much, in my opinion, there's a lot of racism and a lot of homophobia, a lot of sexism, and a lot of like pinning people into boxes. And a lot of those shows, they still feature mostly white heterosexual characters. And so it bothered me a lot, and I found myself pulling people into a room and holding court and explaining to people why I thought this career and this industry was like unjust and not open enough. And then I realized that no one really cares. At the end of the day, like you can sit around and talk and talk and talk, and unless you're being about something as opposed to just talking about it, it doesn't really change anything. And so I decided that I wanted to write something that would express the way I felt without it seeming like I was the bitter black guy who was upset that Hollywood wasn't working in my favor. Because some people would argue that I've had a lot of things given to me and I've had a successful career, and it's not really about that. It's more about things that bother me. So I wanted to express that, and there was no better way for me to express that than the story of my life and telling people the downsides of what I do, because a lot of times people in Hollywood only like to project the positive things that happen to them. And I was like, I have all these fans that watch my videos and come to my channel to be happy and dance and sing, but they don't really know anything about the real Todrick and what it took to get to this point or to make these, videos to get this 360 million views. And so I was just very vulnerable and like wrote about everything, and it took me like 6 weeks from start to finish. And
6 weeks. I hope y'all clock that, because that is a tenth of the time that most people would probably guesstimate that this album took you, which again is your talents at its work right there.
It took about 4 weeks to write the songs and then 2 weeks to do the album, but that was 16 videos. So as you can imagine, 2 weeks to do 16 videos. We were shooting multiple videos some days, and people were editing them simultaneously while we were reshooting videos. And some videos we shot that didn't even make the album because I just didn't feel like they were at the same level. So it was a huge undertaking, and there was a lot of times where I was like, I don't even know if we're gonna be able to do this. But my team is just amazing, and it wouldn't have been possible without them. And they were like pushing me, and we would get so many people involved that agreed to do it. The celebrities like Jordan Sparks and Wayne Brady.
That's what I find so amazing. I'm sure the people watching as well. It's like how you get all those people sort of wrapped around this project, and then you make it happen so quickly. It's so impressive.
I honestly don't know. I still, like last night, I was talking to Wayne Brady 2 nights ago, and I was like, I don't even know why you agreed to do this, because none of them knew the concept of the whole thing. They just knew very limited details about the song that they were doing. And in some cases, Jordan Sparks agreed to do the song, and it wasn't even written yet. She was like, I'm going to come to the studio, and I'm just going to sing it. And she was sick and was like, I can't sing a lot. So I was like, I'm going to rap, and then I catered the song to them. And then last minute, I asked Joseph Gordon-Levitt to do it, and I was like, it's gonna be a no for sure. And I sent him some of the videos that we had done, and he was like, I can do it, but I only have a 3-hour time slot. So we came to the studio, learned the song, recorded it in 30 minutes, got to the location and shot for 2 hours, which is unheard of.
That's great. It's funny because you made a name for yourself, and these people trust the work that you're doing is going to be legit.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that. But this was kind of a little bit, some of the music and the subject matter of some of the songs could be considered controversial. And so I was a little bit semi-concerned about people going in blindly, not knowing the subject matter of the piece. But every single one of the people involved wrote me and was like, I'm so glad and honored to be a part of it. And that's just like the dream situation that you could be in.
So if you haven't watched and listened to the Straight Outta Oz album, first of all, wake up from that rock you've been sleeping under, hunty, and watch and listen, because it'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It'll make you dance. It'll make you find yourself and think about finding yourself and then cry about that and everything in between.
Pritchett.
So I have a question though. Was the tour always a part of this process, or was that something, because you've done that for the last couple of years with different shows, that you're like, oh, I'm going to take this on tour now?
No, it was actually a very backwards way of doing the tour. The train had already left the station. So I decided like months and months ago that I wanted to do a Wizard of Oz themed tour. We were gonna do a tour that featured my YouTube videos and tell the story of the Wizard of Oz, which would have been cute, and I think the audience would have liked it. And it was actually an accident. I wrote the opening trailer song to Straight Outta Oz, and my friends were like, this is really cool and dark and eerie, and I think you should go more in this direction. And my best friend Blair was one of those people that was like, she called me, and normally she just sends me a text message that's like, it's cute, some emoji, and then
that'll work, yes.
And
great,
she called me and was like, this is so dope, and I just had to call you and let you know that this is like, you're an artist, but the Wizard of Oz is combined in it. And because they liked it so much and people connected to this 45-second long clip, I was like, maybe I should run in this direction. And so me being the overachiever that I am, eventually was like, I'm gonna write a full-on musical.
Just all the things, all the things. So many fans out there, so many projects you sort of have your hands on. What can people expect to see next from you once this tour is over?
Well, I can't say everything, can't say too much, but I will just kind of paraphrase it and try to beat around the bush a little bit. I'm gonna go back to Broadway. I'm gonna go back to Broadway. I miss being on Broadway so much, and being in LA has been really awesome, but I've worked with people who can't even remember their lines for a script because they're just so used to being able to deliver one line to one camera angle and then learn their other lines. And every time I go to New York and watch people perform on Broadway and perform live 8 shows a week, there's just nothing like it. And to me, the people in New York are like the consummate professionals. They're just so devoted to what they do in their art form, and they're the real deal. There's no smoke and mirrors, unless it's legitimately
smoke and mirrors.
But the fact that they are just so dedicated to what they do is just so awesome, and I can't wait to be back around that energy because those people challenge me so much.
I love it. Okay, New York, he's coming back for you. Okay, I'd like to wrap up with a little game I call Clapback Call with Toddy Hall. The name of the game is I'm going to ask you 10 questions.
Okay.
And I need you to clap back. I need you to give me the first answer that comes to mind.
Okay.
No time to think about it, okay?
Got it.
Favorite celebrity that you have worked with?
Beyonce.
Least favorite celebrity you've worked with?
Michelle Visage.
Oh, okay, Michelle.
That's not true, but I don't know.
We don't have time to explain it though. Okay, favorite city to tour in?
Philadelphia.
Least favorite city you've ever performed in?
Vancouver.
Oh, snap. Okay, favorite song to perform in this show right now?
Colors.
The song you dread when it comes up, you're like, oh.
Lying to Myself.
Okay, Lying to Myself. Okay, on an airplane, are you aisle or are you window?
Window.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Guilty pleasure?
Nicole Richie, Simple Life.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Big or little spoon?
Big.
Favorite ex-boyfriend?
Brad Pritchett.
Yes! You heard it correctly. Okay, I'd like to finally wrap up with a message from you to the camera, to your fans. Watching us right now, watching you right now. You have such a loyal fan base, so what would you like to tell them?
I would just like to say, I mean, this sounds really cliche, but thank you so much for believing in me. There have been so many moments in my life where I have not believed in myself, and I've literally turned to Twitter and the people that have become my friends on the internet to keep pushing forward, because without you guys sharing and liking and favoriting and posting my pictures on Facebook walls of people who didn't want to see my videos, I wouldn't be able to tour and make a living doing what I do. So thank you so much for believing in me, and thank you to the parents who allow your kids to come and support me. This is something that years ago people might not have been able to go and watch a gay African-American man perform on stage, and I'm just so grateful that that's a non-issue these days, and that people are bringing their kids to come and watch entertainment, and that is something that's not even brought up, and I'm so grateful for that, and I'm so happy that you guys allow me to perform and share my gifts with you.
Thank you so much, fellas, for coming to see Straight Outta Oz.
To check out this Todrick magic in person, simply visit todrickhall.com for a full listing of Straight Outta Oz city dates and tour places. So, as always, from DVTV to you, send us an email if you have any entertainment news suggestions from the local scene to your computer screen. Until next time, I'm Brad.